Hello, everyone. Welcome to our webinar today. I'm going to wait just a couple minutes before we get started, just to make sure that if anybody's running a couple minutes late, they don't miss any important information. Just give everyone just another more minute. I have 7:01 just again to make sure that if we have anybody that's running a little bit late, that they have the opportunity to join us still. Okay, everyone, I'm going to go ahead and get started. It's about a couple minutes past. So welcome to our webinar today. We're delighted to have you. And we are going to be discussing volunteer, shadowing, and work experience credentials for students. So before I get started, I am going to tell you that I'm going to take off my video because sometimes my internet is a little slow and I don't want anything to happen with the video that we're on today. So I'm just going to, stop my video and then move right along here. Okay, great. So like I said, my name, actually I didn't introduce myself yet, but my name is Neeley Allen and I am the Director of Marketing and Education Partnerships for VolunteerCrowd, and I am here on their behalf today. So I have recently developed our new letter of recommendation service with VolunteerCrowd, and it was launched at the end of last year. And in addition, I host monthly office hours for VolunteerCrowd that focuses on boosting LinkedIn profiles. And I also hold a Q&A session for the President's Volunteer Service Award that we are actually a certifying organization for. So just a little bit about me. My background's in higher education and marketing, and I greatly enjoy working with students. That's what I've done all my life since my professional career, and helping students just like you exploring your pathway and aiming toward college and career. Part of our team is also Megan, and she's not with us today, but Megan Thomas, she's the Director of Student Success and Programs for VolunteerCrowd. She is the go-to contact for finding specialized volunteer projects, and she also hosts monthly office hours throughout the month. She, like myself, is passionate about helping students. She's a middle school teacher, so we both, like I said, have that, that passionate side of us with helping students just like yourselves. So again, welcome to today's webinar. And so before I begin today, I'm just going to give a little thank you to SHSS for letting us be here and giving us the opportunity to share with you, what it is that we do and why we're here and what VolunteerCrowd is, and how you can get the most out of your volunteer and shadowing and work experience. So to begin the presentation, I want to share with you some exciting news for Californians. Over the next 2 years, 6,000 students will volunteer. About 450 hours is the qualification. and they have the opportunity to receive up to $10,000 in education grant. That is amazing. And that's overall a $6 million initiative set forth by the Californians for All College Corps. And the goal is helping students create debt-free pathways to college while engaging students across the state to help solve problems in the community. So you may be wondering why we're presenting on behalf of that, because volunteering, that's what we're here for. We're VolunteerCrowd, and our team is dedicated to helping students find volunteer and shadowing opportunities. So not only serving your communities, but also helping you build a verified service portfolio that helps you get noticed by colleges and employers. So we're going to cover what, the College for All program is, and as well as what VolunteerCrowd is. But the most important thing is that volunteering can pay off big time. And we're going to cover many ways on how that's possible. So in doing that, we're going to provide information on and give you an overview of the College for All program, explaining how volunteering boosts apps and why you should focus on meaningful projects, how you can track hours, your school, club, and individual hours, as well as building a service transcript and requesting letters of recommendation. So before we begin, we're going to cover, these topics, and I just want to express the importance of the college admissions process and how that's going to affect you. So in general, I'm sure a lot of you are aware of the post-varsity blues era and the college admissions scandal. And of course, even the pandemic has changed how college admissions is focusing and how they're admitting students nowadays. So, before they would use metrics like standardized testing to determine a student's skill level and to determine if they're ready for college. But now they've realized that it's not exactly the best indicator. Scores don't necessarily show character and critical thinking skills. So you may be wondering, what does that mean exactly? So we've found that students, and they've found actually, so students need to find meaningful ways to showcase their soft skills. And you may be wondering what soft skills is exactly. That is like your interpersonal skills, communication skills, time management, things along that line. So, meaningful volunteer projects sometimes are hard to find to actually represent those parts of yourself. And so, the volunteer hours maybe don't represent your character the way that you want them to. And then, of course, self-reporting hours they've discovered over the years is unreliable, which again, that kind of goes back to the college admissions scandal and things. So, VolunteerCrowd actually helps with that. We help students overcome those challenges because we do verify hours, and those self-reported hours are no longer. We have a platform that students can use to track all of that. So, and 82% of interviewers are more likely to choose a candidate with volunteer experience. Research over the years, or especially over the past couple of years, has found that. And we have done some training with programs like NACAC and Character Collaborative to really become aware of the changes in the admissions community. And so during that training, we've come to find out that the process of accepting students into college and their requirements have changed, and they just started changing that last fall. So starting last year, only about 50% of colleges accepted standardized test scores, which is a change in how it used to be. In 2020, that number was 28%. So it keeps on declining. So with that said, about colleges have been revamping their admissions process and training staff on how to look at character in the admissions process, because again, they're realizing that there is more to students than their numbers, than the metrics. So we're going to emphasize and kind of cover some of these things today in our presentation, but what we've found is that these are the things that colleges are focusing on: the letters of recommendation, the student essay, character related evidence, the character ratings, their online interviews, and their digital portfolios. And now Californians have an even greater incentive. So this is more going in depth on the program. So beginning fall of 2022, kind of giving you a little bit more details about the Californians for all programs. So 45 California colleges and universities will be participating in the Californians for All College Core Initiative. And so this includes some of the UCs, Cal States, and some private and community colleges in California. So how it works is that students will volunteer, like I mentioned earlier, 450 hours throughout the year supporting K-12, education, climate action, and or food insecurity volunteer projects, focusing on those issues at hand. So in turn, students can earn $10,000 in grant tuition for their service to the community. One thing, not all nonprofits are going to count towards that, but we are actually taking the initiative to finding projects for this because we realize that it's important for students, especially not only for this initiative, but just for these causes at hand. And of course, it includes AB 540 eligible Dreamers. Here's a list of the participating colleges, just so you kind of know. And I'll kind of pause here for just a few seconds so you can kind of look at this. I'm sure some of you maybe have your eye on some of these colleges already. So now that I've kind of covered the basis of the California for All program and how it works, we want you to realize that it's more than just funding. It's building a future for you and for the community, helping your community. So as you can kind of see here, essentially with the program and with building that rapport in the community and supporting your community, you're earning academic credits, you're gaining experience, you're developing real world life skills, you're building a portfolio for your volunteer achievement, you're gaining soft skills. Like I said, that's important. We found college admissions offices are really looking into that more in depth. And best of all, you're going to start gaining a sense of purpose. Like, I don't know if any of you have already been volunteering. I'm sure some of you have, but you gain a sense of purpose for volunteering, and you gain a sense of pride in yourself because of the achievements that you achieve, and for helping the others and for supporting your community. So with VolunteerCrowd, we can help you set yourself up for success. So you may be wondering exactly how VolunteerCrowd can help with this situation. How can we set you above other students in the college community? So with VolunteerCrowd, we combine all of your hours in one place. So the more you serve, the more you qualify for higher awards year after year. So you can kind of take a look at this chart. So, a lot of students begin serving their community in middle school, and they just kind of tack on hours, going into high school, and then so on and so forth to college, because you are completing internships and you're going to grad school, which sometimes has a requirement of, other internships or shadowing, things like that. So if you look at the chart, you can really see how your hours can start to accumulate over time. And of course, that's the goal. But then, of course, as you are accumulating these hours, sometimes you may be wondering, what do I do with these hours? Or do I keep these on paper logs? What do I do? Well, VolunteerCrowd has just what students need for that. We have an app. And so with our app and our program, students can join the membership, and I'll explain that here in a minute, but you would download the app, and essentially, you would start adding in the projects that you are participating in, and then you would start tracking the hours for those projects. And then, as you can see in some of these pictures, you can essentially watch your portfolio grow over time. You start to see that you are getting character strengths that are endorsed by some of your volunteer contacts, and you can actually start earning awards. So essentially, you would go in, you would create an account, and then you would sign up for a membership program with VolunteerCrowd, because we have to make sure that we go in and we verify students' hours, because we want to make sure that, obviously the hours the students are volunteering for are legit and things that they are actually serving and doing in the community. So we have two different membership programs. The Impact Member Program doesn't actually get the verification service, but students can still find, premium projects. We have 20 different cause areas, things like STEM, health, environmental, business internships, and they can still start, putting those hours in and keeping kind of those hours together excuse me, but with the College and Career Advantage plan, students actually get a verified service transcript. So we go above and beyond to reach out to volunteer contacts that students put on for their projects to make sure that the hours that they are noting on there, that they're actually serving in. And again, we back that up because we reach out to the contacts and make sure that they are actually verifiable. So you get the same benefits as the impact member. You still get the same access to all the programs all the projects that we have. But again, it comes with the verification process. So you can build that transcript in real time. So with that verification service, we can also certify hours for the President's Volunteer Service Award. And we also, I mentioned earlier, some of those endorsed character strengths, like we request strength and skill endorsements on behalf of the volunteer with those volunteer contacts. So again, I will show you here soon, like a sample of a transcript, and you can actually see like what your volunteer contacts are saying about you. So you create that verified service transcript, and then you can also start earning digital badges that you can use on LinkedIn profiles, applications like the Common App, job applications, internships, scholarship applications, other merit aid applications, anything like that. We provide like digital links to the application or to that transcript and to those badges, and then you can showcase what exactly you've done. So we want you to think of it as more of like proof, not a puff piece. We actually, again, back everything and provide that proof for you. So you can also earn awards with the VolunteerCrowd membership. Like I had mentioned earlier, we are a Pdsa certifying organization. So essentially, I don't know if you know what the Pdsa is, but it's another form of recognition for your service. And it honors your impact in the community. You can actually earn a certificate, a really nice certificate that's signed by the president for your service in the community. So, I want to make sure that I reiterate the fact that we are a verification platform. So, since we're not there whenever students are actually volunteering in the community, like Boy Scouts, Club Scouts, things like that, that's why we go above and beyond. And we've created the verification process. So we reach out to the volunteer contacts to make sure that students are actually submitting the right information. So as you can see, like based on this chart, with our program, we certify students and it goes from January 1 to December 31st. So that's how we use the actual hours for the calendar year. And it's based on age. You can see the different levels that students can possibly qualify for the Pdsa Award. And it's based on their age as of January 1st. So as you can see, it necessarily wouldn't take a lot of time for some students to start getting some of these hours. We have students that qualify a lot just because, they find something that they're passionate about and they start serving in the community. And next thing you know, they are over, 50, sometimes, over 100 hours without them realizing, because they're passionate about it and they're in the community, serving a lot. Okay, and so another thing with the VolunteerCrowd membership, you can also earn digital badges. And like I said, that, essentially you start serving in different cause areas, you start accumulating a lot of time, and next thing you know, you have 50, 100, 200 hours in a certain cause area. Once you have that many hours in a certain cause area, students can earn digital badges. And these are badges that, students can actually show on LinkedIn. Or, like I said, on other applications, because we give you the link for these actual digital credentials. So it's a great complement to student portfolios. And like I said, you sign up and we have that, we have a one-time digital credential registration fee, and you have access to these things all the time. So here is a sample of a transcript. Like I said, I would show this to you here shortly. So here it is. This is an actual, student transcript. We obviously don't have their name on here for security reasons, but this is an actual student transcript. This is one that we've awarded to a student. And as you can see, the number of hours that they've accumulated, their endorsed skills and strength, you can see that they've earned the Pdsa Award for the past few years. So this is the exact type of transcript that students would be sending to their colleges or employers or on scholarship applications, whatever they decided to do. Each transcript is unique as a student, like I said, because it's based on their experience and what they're doing in the community. So it gives a really good insight for colleges and employers. They actually can see the impact that you are having in your community and how you are serving your community. So it's representative of your character, and it just kind of provides and paints a picture for them whenever you are applying for these things. You can essentially get a transcript, a hard copy. We partnership with Parchment. So students can go in and actually request for a transcript, a copy of this, or like I said, we can give you the digital link that you can include on different applications. And then letters of recommendation. So as we had noted earlier, like on our training with Character Collaborative and NACAC, we found that letters of recommendation is something that they are actually leaning more on with college admissions. I mean, it's always been something that's been there, but we've realized that they are wanting letters of recommendation to focus on more non-cognitive strengths, because you have a transcript from high school. It has your metrics on it. It has your grades on it. So, sometimes you'll get a letter of recommendation and it doesn't really focus on your non-cognitive strengths. Sometimes people submit letters of recommendation that focus on the same thing that your transcript does. So what we've done is we've taken a letter of recommendation process and service, and we've focused it on the non-cognitive strengths. So because again, during the training that we have done with those organizations, we've found that they want to know what a student's concern for their community is. We want to know their impact and contributions. They want to know how peers describe them. How, are they tolerant? Are they accepting of various situations, different points of views, things like that? They want to know their character strengths. Anything that's going to determine their non-cognitive strengths, and that's going to set them apart from other students, again, besides those metric aspects. So like I said earlier, I worked with some of our back-end team and our front-end team to develop this process. And so we have it's an all digital process for letters of recommendation. So really nothing goes in the hands of the students. So again, it makes it more of a secure process. So again, so they know that those letters of recommendation aren't tampered with. And it's to help make sure that the delivery of the process of letters of recommendation is efficient. Okay, so I know that I've covered a lot of information. So I guess we want to hear from you. We want to know, I guess, what types of questions you may have about the program or what it may be. I know that we have a chat open and I can kind of look at that. We have some folks in the background answering some questions. So, all right. So I know that there has been some links provided to you in the chat. Those are going to be some really helpful links to you. So there's a link to our website, the one that focuses on our projects, one that focuses on how to download the app. We have a VolunteerCrowd blog, and there are lots of articles on there that are useful to students, especially for the President's Volunteer Service Award, letters of recommendation, that process. There's also things on there on how to track hours, more in-depth information about our transcripts. So lots of great information on the blog. Let's see here. I'm moving along on the chat to see what else we have. So I know there was a question asked a little while ago if students are planning to apply to California, to a California school. So I don't know if anybody has actually put in there. It looks like we had a question, is this program only for Californian students? So VolunteerCrowd is open to anybody. We have projects from all kinds of nonprofit organizations all over the country. So VolunteerCrowd is not just for Californians, but the Californians for All volunteer program, just kind of the addition that we were focusing on today with this, is just for Californians so far. Now, I know in the press release that the governor had put out when he announced this, that this may be an initiative that takes off across the country, but as of right now, it's just for certain Californian schools. And I can go back to that slide if somebody needs me to kind of say, to tell you what programs or what schools, are offered in that program. But you can go, I think we might have a link excuse me, if it's not already at the end of the chat, we can provide you a link with some of that information on that program, so you can go in and see if the college or university that you're planning to go to offers that. Okay, so other links here about finding the project. More links. How do we find out if our state has a similar program? I'm sure that you could just, kind of Google it, or go to maybe like your like a higher like state department or something like that. Like I'm from Ohio, so maybe I would Google something through like the Ohio Department of Education or something like that. So I'm not exactly sure. I would just say, Google in that case. I don't know of any other programs out there that are like this, but that's not saying that there isn't.
Neeley, there's a request to go back to the college slide.
Okay, sure. I haven't got to that one yet. Thank you. The college slide. I'm assuming it's the one with all the colleges listed, correct?
That's the one.
Okay, here we go. Is there anybody on here? I know that it looks like Amy had asked earlier about qualifying for the President's Volunteer Service Award. I don't necessarily see anybody that said that they are. If anybody has any questions, I think that you're able to speak. I believe. If I'm wrong, I apologize. Or you can put it in the chat. But if you have anything, feel free to let us know. We have the whole hour. So
there was a request to go to the slide before that.
Okay. Here we go. So here's the different qualifications for the program. So again, it begins this coming fall. There are 45 colleges and universities from California that are participating. You earn $10,000 in grant tuition for expenses and funding for tuition and expenses. The requirement is you find one of these cause areas: K through 12 education, climate action, or food insecurity, volunteer projects that are related to that. You accumulate 450 hours, and then you get that money for tuition and expenses. Okay. Anybody else have any questions related to the California program? Like I said, I'm kind of going through here, and I haven't seen any other ones. Will there be one for Florida? If so, when? Again, we're not sure. Again, this was just an initiative that California just developed. And, again, but we're hoping throughout the country that this is going to be something that is very common and popular, because they're realizing that, students going out in the community, they are, first of all, usually great volunteers, and, they have a goal in mind. And so it's a two-way street. You're supporting the community, and you're building those relationships, you're building your portfolio, you're getting firsthand experience for your college and career. So, we're hopeful that that's going to come about. We're not sure exactly. What year can you begin? So that was a question. I'm assuming you mean, well, I'll just answer it in both ways. Obviously you have to be, in college or aiming, to do the Californians for All program, because it's participating colleges and universities. For VolunteerCrowd, you can begin participating, as young as, I think really, well, any, I guess. So like the volunteer, let me get back to the Pdsa slide. So for the Pdsa Award, they start that in, you have to be as young as 5. So as long as students are US residents and, they're at least a minimum age of 5, they can earn the Pdsa Award, and students can start, with VolunteerCrowd, whenever they would like, essentially the same thing. So they just join one of our membership programs, and then they start entering those hours, and then we start verifying the process if that's the route that they go. Or with impact member program, they can still at least find those projects out there that we, take time out of, and trying to find for students. We try to go above and beyond and try to find, lots of different projects. And like I said, we have 20 different cause areas. So anything from animals and arts and culture, STEM, health, mental health. I think there's some military projects. And so again, there's 20 different cause areas. So We have another question. Are there environmental volunteering opportunities able to be accessed from the app? I mean, yes, there's, there should be, as far as I'm aware. So you just go online, and I can stop sharing this if students, if anybody's interested, but you just go to that link. I think it was provided at the beginning for the projects, and you can filter projects through area. You can find virtual projects. That's something that we really, over the past couple of years, have really tried to strive for, trying to find some virtual opportunities, because especially when the pandemic hit, a lot of nonprofits started doing virtual opportunities instead of in person because of things that was going on. So there's virtual, there are things all over the country, and so you can just filter by area, filter by cause area. If you want things related to, if it's a Boy Scout, or if it's going to be related to like an IB or AP class, things like that.
Neeley, we had a question about how VolunteerCrowd could be used on a college application. Maybe you could talk a little bit about the link that's provided, and sharing on LinkedIn profiles in the Common App.
Yeah, so one of our goals with VolunteerCrowd is obviously using it for college and career. Because essentially that's not only what students are volunteering for, they're volunteering for the community, but they want to use those they want to be recognized and use that as to have a step up above their competition in the college admissions world. So she said share that link, Amy. I'm sorry.
Oh, yes. Just talk a little bit about how you put your link to your transcript on your college application.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Yes. So essentially, with our College and Career Advantage program, we have the digital credentials package, kind of related to that. There's a one-time registration fee for, and I can kind of get back to that slide. Where did I? So here, with the College and Career Advantage program, there's a $25 registration fee, and that provides the digital credentials. And so basically, as you're volunteering and you have paid the $25 registration fee, you get access to your digital credentials, your transcript, whenever you need it. You have access to that link. So we would share that link with you, and as you volunteer and you accumulate hours, you can actually see your transcript live building upon those hours. Once you're awarded like the Pdsa Award, or once you're awarded credentials or character strengths from your volunteer contacts, you would see that start building on as well. So we would just give you that link, and then that's the link that you can share as well on LinkedIn or wherever you want to put it. You can put that link on, your college apps. You can put it on scholarship applications, so they can actually see those transcripts and those digital badges live. Okay, let me see here. We had another question. Are the hours only verifiable for projects from the app, or can you verify hours from local projects? So that's a great question. So we provide a lot of opportunities out there, and I can even pull up some like our website. I'll just stop sharing this and pull it up real quick. So students can add their own projects in the app. So that's pretty cool. We have the opportunity for you to do that as well. So basically you would still find those projects that you want. You would go in, our blog that explains how to track hours tells you how to do that if you're adding in your own project. But what you would do is you would just go in and you would add that project in. Again, we would verify that with your volunteer contact. And then, we would approve it for verification. They would verify it. And then once they verify those hours, then we would put those hours out there on your transcript. And that would be the process of starting to build that transcript. Let me real quick, I will stop sharing this and I will pull up the website and just kind of go through that just in case anybody wants to kind of see that offhand. Okay, So this is our website. And essentially you would just go to volunteercrowd.com. You could click on find projects at the top, and this is where you would search for the various different projects. Like I said, we have projects in about 20 different cause areas, 20 to be exact. You can filter by state, city, state, or zip. You can filter by the radius, different project types. So if you want, a supply drive or just a one-day event, an internship, shadowing, virtual, you can filter by minimum age, because there are some age limits on certain projects, and that's obviously something that's been stipulated by the nonprofit. That's not something that we've set. And then you can filter for what it may be good for. Again, I mentioned that earlier: Boy Scouts, Eagle Scouts, AP, IB classes, things along that line. And so you would just set those filters, and then you could search for the various different projects here. I know that we had someone ask about the digital credentials. So I believe I can see Devanchi's profile. I'm assuming she's a student that gave us access to share her information because she puts those digital credentials on her site as well. Let me see here. I'm trying to, there we go. I think. Amy, do you remember how to spell Devanchi's last name?
I think you're almost there.
That's what I thought. Just maybe her profile isn't set to. I'm trying to see which one she is.
I will find it and put in the link.
Thank you. I know it looks like we had another question about letters of recommendation and what is the best grade for letters of recommendation. I mean, anytime you would need a recommendation, obviously that would be good. But, usually when students are gearing up towards, for college or scholarship applications, things like that, that's usually when letters of recommendation typically come into play more often, at least from my experience. If anybody else has any other, experience, feel free to share. Okay, so this is Devanchi's profile, and let me scroll down here. So her experience, education, license, and certificate. So as you can see here, Devanchi was awarded the President Volunteer Service Award, and she got the gold level for that. So she just put essentially that on her transcript, and what she did is she just took a picture of her certificate that she was awarded. This is the actual certificate that we received from the certifying. So we're a certifying organization, and we go through points of light, as you can see on here, and they're the ones that actually send us the certificates, and then we send them off to the students. So this is her actual PVSA. And then you can also see that she added on here as well. Oh, there we go. Her volunteer service transcript. So you can see that, like I said, this is live. So as she continues to build upon this continues to change. So, she put that link on there. And so as she continues to add hours, these hours are going to change. These are the different skills and strengths that she was awarded by her volunteer contacts. And again, it has noted on here the Pdsa award that she received for last year. So again, this is a live link. So as you accumulate those, then you can continue to show that off on your profiles. Okay, let me scroll down. I think we had a question about the membership fee. So I can, I'll stop sharing this and I'll bring up the presentation again. I did have one last slide that showed that as well. Here we go. So, okay. So with our, a link was put in the chat so you can actually see the membership fee cost. So it's $39 a year for the impact member. But that, again, that doesn't come with the verification cost. And then there's $99 a year for plus that one-time $25 registration fee. And that is for the College and Career Advantage program. So that is for all the projects that we offer for the verification process. Again, you put the information in the app, we reach out to the contact, we verify it, and then we start building that transcript for you. That's when you get the links to your digital credentials that you can put on the app, things like that. So this chart here just kind of explains the cost and I guess how it works. So let's say there's a student who's not done any volunteering before. They have no past volunteer hours. It's $99 a year. They join this month. This is March 2021, but essentially the same thing. So they join March 2022, and then it renews year after year. So March 2023, they would be charged $99 a year again. And then as they accumulate those hours throughout the year, they would just continue to do that process. Now, some students join us and then they're like, oh, but I have almost a year's worth of volunteer experience with another nonprofit organization. How can I get those counted for? That's what makes our program different than any other program, because we actually go and take the step and another initiative to go back in time and verify that. So essentially you put those hours in and you give us those volunteer contacts, and then we reach out to those volunteer contacts from the past and we ask them to verify that. And then if they verify it, then students can essentially have those hours verified from last year. Now, for the Pdsa Awards, students can still earn those awards for the previous years. So we verified with Points of Light a couple months ago. So obviously we're on track for the 2022 year, but students can go back in time and have the 2021 hours verified and get the certificate for that as well. And then the 2021 hours as well. So they go back to previous years in addition to the year that we're in. So if you have any 2020 hours or 2021 hours, again, students, your membership would be prorated. So essentially you're paying the same amount. We would just go back in time and charge you from the past hours. So you essentially are joining March 2022, but we would prorate your membership like you joined back in March 2021 or whenever it is that you need to go back, and we would just prorate that membership. So I hope that makes sense. Sometimes that can be a little confusing. So again, that's what sets us apart. Like not all programs out there will let you go back in time and actually verify those past hours. And so we do that for the students who need that. Okay, we had another question about when is the best time to begin volunteering? Honestly, I don't think I think anytime, now. I mean, so obviously the younger you are and the sooner you start participating, then you are going to essentially start building that portfolio a lot quicker, and you're going to really start to gain recognition for your impact in the community. So I would just say, as soon as you can, I would start volunteering, because, not only is it good to show that impact in your community, and not only is it good to kind of set yourself above other competition for colleges and for, going out into the real world and finding a career, but it helps you gain that sense of purpose. It can help you explore different career paths. So if you are especially a student who maybe doesn't know exactly what it is that you want to do in the world, and you maybe are like my 5-year-old who tells me every day that she wants to be something different. You go in, you start volunteering in different areas, and you're going to start finding out really quick that you like a certain area. This is something that I did, at the college level. I used to work in higher education. So I would sit down with students and kind of help guide them. And if they had no idea, I worked with a lot of students who came into college undecided, had no idea what they wanted to pursue. And I would sit down and talk with them, give them some suggestions, give them some resources. And then, one of my things that I would tell them was, have you started to volunteer in, or shadow anybody in those areas? And a lot of people said no. And I said, that would be the greatest way for you to get that experience and to really see if that's what you want to do. Because even though if you go to school for something, sometimes, going to school for something is different than actually being out there in the real world doing it. So I'm an advocate for volunteering and shadowing and going out there and just getting as much experience as you can, because it's just, going to help you out tremendously in all different aspects. Let's see here. Oh, thank you, Amy. I don't think I did mention our office hours. So we do, as part of our service, offer office hours for anybody that's interested. We offer them usually a couple times throughout the month. Right now I have them set for Saturdays. Excuse me, that could change, but I think, yes, Amy provided the link on there. We explain to students, how to track hours, how to find volunteer projects. We give them the information on how they can qualify for the Pdsa. We provide them, the information that they need to determine, if our program is right for them, but just, what they can do and how they can make a difference. So it looks like another good question. Do all projects on the app count toward the California College for All program? So again, like the Californian College for All program is those requirements, and I will go back to that. You have to find projects related to K through 12 education, climate action, and food insecurity. Those, that is the requirements set for by the California volunteers, the Californians for All College Core program. Like, it's through the Californian volunteer organization. So that's their requirement. Now we have, like I said, projects in 20 different cause areas, but for this specific purpose, for this program, for that grant money, it has to be in these 3 areas, one of the 3 areas. Let me check the time here. Okay, so it looks like we're at 7:46. So, I mean, I know that we're wrapping down. We still have some time. If you have any questions, please feel free to let us know. We're still monitoring the chat. I mean, I hope that I've been clear on everything. If any, feel free to ask us anything else that you may be unsure of. I'm scrolling through the chat here and see if there's anything that we overlooked. How do you find a qualified project? My daughter wants to do a medical volunteer nonprofit. So I'm assuming that's related to the California for All grant program for the tuition money. Again, it has to be in one of these 3 different areas. But I mean, we do offer projects, we offer shadowing, all kinds of different things in the pre-health world and mental health. I don't know exactly what area she wants to go into. We have a lot of STEM projects, so we do offer projects, but again, for that California program, it has to be the K through 12 education, climate action, or food insecurity. Does it contradict with other scholarships? We had that question. It says like Bright Futures. I'm not really familiar with Bright Futures, so I don't know if like Amy, if you have any information on that, but from my experience from the college, like people piled on a scholarship after scholarship. So, if you got a scholarship, from one place and then got another one, then they would just add that both to, your, to help pay for your tuition. So, I mean, not that I know of, I don't think that there's any contradictory there.
Just regarding the pre-med or pre-health track, we do work with college students who are in pre-med, and a lot of them will volunteer at food banks and also environmental causes, because those are the things that can really have a profound impact on health, diet, and what's in the environment. So it's good to volunteer with direct medical related causes, and then it's also a good idea to volunteer with related things like nutrition and environmental.
Thank you, Amy. I think we had a couple more questions pop up, but I know it was noted in here. So yeah, once you find projects, so you go to our website, you find a project that you want, and like each project has its own requirements and instructions for signing up. So like if you have any questions about that, basically you would just go on our website and you would find the project that you're interested in, and then it gives you the notes within that webpage on how you would actually sign up. A lot of times you're reaching out and reaching out to that nonprofit to sign up and things like that, just because we can't like release student names to those nonprofits just for security reasons. So like you have to take that initiative usually to reach out, but we have those projects there for you to kind of start that process. So let's see here. Can only people from California participate? Again, students have to be enrolled in one of those colleges or universities. So, I mean, I'm assuming, you would just need to work with the college and university, like the dean like of students or the admissions office. Because I mean, I'm assuming if you're attending one of those colleges, maybe if it's an online program, I'm not exactly sure, I haven't seen that part of the program that it wouldn't qualify, but as long as you're enrolled in those colleges, that's from my understanding that you would qualify for that as long as you are meeting those other requirements. How do I find projects on the East Coast? So again, if you just go to the website and find for our like find projects part of the website, you can just filter down by area. So you can put in your zip code, you can put in city and state, you can filter for volunteer project, or I'm sorry, not volunteer, obviously that's volunteer, but virtual projects. So I think Amy had mentioned that too. I think that you can see that on the chat. We have, someone was asking earlier, do we have volunteer projects that are online? Yes, we have a lot of volunteer projects online. A lot of them are tutoring. But because that's just been where a lot of the needs been out, especially in, with the pandemic and students going remote and students having a hard time with being remote, there's a lot of tutoring projects out there, but there's a lot of volunteer opportunities that are virtual as well too. Amy also put in the chat box that we have a blog that's related to virtual volunteering and related to the tutoring projects that I had just mentioned. So feel free to take a look at that as well. Great. Awesome. Again, we'll kind of hang out for a few more minutes. If anybody has any other questions, I'll kind of give it a couple more minutes. It looks like we've had some awesome questions come in. So thank you all for participating. I'm hoping I'm hoping that this information is useful. I'm hoping that this is encouraging to a lot of you. Looks like we had a question that came in the Q&A feature about the AB 540 eligible dreamers. To be perfectly honest, we don't have a lot of expertise in this area, so it would be probably better if you kind of stop that information out. I apologize, but that's just something that we're not very familiar with. So I don't want to give you any wrong information. That's not our expertise level. So I don't want to misguide anybody. Okay. Well, it looks like the chat questions have died down and I don't see any more. So I'll just shout out one last minute and then we'll close. I know that we are running to the end of the time. It's about 7:53. So we're almost to the end of time anyways. So again, I'll just kind of give you one last minute. And if you have any questions, please drop those in there. And if not, we will just kind of close out. Okay, I know it looks like we reiterated the links in the chat. So if you wanted to, copy those links down real quick, go ahead and make sure that you do that before we close out. Someone had asked about signing up. So what you would do, the process is you would essentially go on our website, volunteercrowd.com. You would create the profile there. There's a See Plans button at the top of our webpage. You would go to the plans page and you would pick the program or the membership program that you wanted, whether that's the Impact Member Program or the College and Career Advantage. Again, the College and Career Advantage program and membership is the one that I'm assuming most of you would want. That includes all of the projects that we offer, the verification process, the service transcript that you would be building, the digital credentials once you pay that registration fee. And then with that membership, we also do the certification for the Pdsa. So you would join the program on our website, and then you would go online, you would download the app. The link to the app is on our webpage as well. You would put in the information that you created your account with. Make sure that if you sign up using the Google icon, that you always sign up with the Google icon. You don't sign up with the email way if you use the Google icon, because it's very particular on which way you do that. So just make sure you're always signing up the same or signing in the same way that you signed up. And then you would go in and then you would have access to everything. So I hope that is clear. Another question came in. Are you guys available to give recommendation letters? So, the point of the recommendation letters is developing that relationship with your nonprofit and them awarding the recommendation letter. So that's a great question. So the way that process works for the recommendation letters is if students wanted to go through VolunteerCrowd to help us to help make that process more efficient. We have, okay, thank you, Amy. So Amy put the blog on there and it tells you exactly how you need to do that. So basically there's a form, you go online, you fill out, you answer some questions about yourself. You put in the contact that you want to reach out, you want us to reach out for you for that recommendation letter. So then we take that information that you submit, then we reach out to the volunteer contact, that nonprofit person, and then we ask them some questions that are related to going back. Let's see here. I think it's at the very end here. So going back to that last slide about the letter of recommendation process, again, we would ask some questions related to these things: your concern for the community, your impact and contributions, how peers describe you, based on your tolerance and acceptance, your character strengths, things like that. Again, it's focused on your non-cognitive strengths because we want your letter of recommendation to showcase something other than what your academic transcript already does. And so we ask them questions based on these, then they can give us the answers. And then as you can see on the left hand of this slide, this is kind of like what the letter of recommendation would look like. So we plug the information in throughout the research that we've that like Character Collaborative and NACAC had done based on the letter of recommendation process. They had found that the traditional letter format necessarily isn't what college admissions officers want anymore. So that's why we broke it down like this, because they just want more straightforward. This is the information. Again, don't consider it as fluff or a puff piece. Like they want like hardcore information. They want stuff to be more representative of you. Again, something that's not going to be what the transcript that your academic transcript already shows. So then this is what it would look like, and then we would send it on to wherever you wanted it to go. So we partner with Parchment, on this as well. And so you would just go through Parchment, you would tell where you want that sent, and then it would be sent off. So since we're partnered with Parchment on the actual paper copies, there is a cost with those, just like it is for any transcript service with the Parchment, because they would actually be, sending out those transcripts and those paper copies. So there is, because we work with Parchment and they charge, there is a fee for that, but I believe it's like around $10. So it's not, anything astronomical. Okay, great. Well, it's 7:58, so I'm going to close out. Thank you very much for joining us, everyone. I really hope that this information was useful. Like I said, we are here to help in any way that we can. We're really passionate about what we're doing. We're really passionate about volunteering, and we want to see students exceed and excel. So again, thank you for joining us. If you have any questions, our email is students@volunteercrowd.com. So if you have any questions, please just shoot us an email and we're happy to clarify anything.
Neeley, I'm so sorry. There was one last question about office
okay.
hours. The question is, how will we know when you guys are available for office hours? I'll put the link in again.
Okay. Thank you, Amy. So yes, we have office hours. We offer them, occasionally throughout the month. So just go on. We use Calendly to schedule those. We offer office hours based on the Pdsa. Megan, who I briefly mentioned and introduced earlier, she's not with us today, but she is the one that really goes out and finds those projects for students. And so you can meet with her about helping you find that project, the one that's really going to kind of help you stand out. That's what she's there for. I host office hours about like social media, like those LinkedIn profiles and how to put those digital credentials on your profiles. So just go to that link and you can kind of see what we have available out there. We're happy to meet with you. Okay, looks like we had one more question come through. Can you guys help find, I think this is maybe, can you help find certain volunteer opportunities in a certain hospital, perhaps? I mean, I know that I would say, yes, you could just reach out to Megan, sign up for one of the office hours she has, and she could try to see if there's something available out there in like different hospitals or whatever. But like I said, you can go on there and you can find projects too on the website yourself and just kind of filter by area. And, if there's anything in that area, it should populate. So does a mission trip with your church count as volunteer hours? So I think that if you're actually volunteering in a way on the trip and serving the community in a way that can be verified, I would say it should be fine. I mean, I don't know if you have any other insight onto that, Amy, but as long as it's actual volunteer work. So like some people want to ask about like worship service and things like that. That doesn't count for like the Pdsa certification. But when it comes to like, going to the church and working in the community garden or helping with like whatever projects they have on hand, then that could definitely count for the Pdsa certification.
Yes, we have some students who have gone abroad or even locally and built houses.
Yes.
Tutored students, worked at a food bank. So yes, many examples, as long as it's not for the specific, as long as it's not delivering a service or something like that, then it's counted.
Thank you.
And we would need someone to verify our service hours if it was different organizations. That's the question. Would we need? So.
Okay, so would we need someone to verify our service hours if it was a different? Yes, so essentially if you're volunteering with your local food bank, then there should be like an organizer or a volunteer contact that is, leading that initiative. So that would be the person that would verify your hours. So each project should have a different contact, essentially, as long as it's not with the same organization. Now, if you volunteer with the same organization week after week, then obviously that contact is going to be the same. But for different projects in itself, they should, yes. How could they verify? So basically how the process works, so you join the membership, you download the app. After you join the membership, you download, you sign in, you start entering project hours in the app. And then once you enter that in, it gets sent to us. Then we go in and we make sure that it looks like it's a legit, nonprofit. It looks like it's something that is approvable. And so then we go in, we approve that project for verification. Then there's a verification link that gets sent to your volunteer contact, because you have to put in there a contact email. And I do want to make sure that I specify that that you're putting in contact like emails that actually look like emails that are representative of that nonprofit. So let's say you put an email that's like a Gmail or a Yahoo, those technically don't look like they're linked to that nonprofit. So we typically send you like an email back and say, this looks like it's a personal email. We need an email that's from that organization. So like, usually like bigger nonprofits like Red Cross, they have their own email. So it's like amy@redcross.org or whatever it is. So that's the email that we would encourage you to use so that doesn't get held up in the verification process. Because again, we're putting our name on the verification process. So we want to make sure that those people that we're reaching out to are actual people at those organizations. So once we get that contact and that information is put in there and we approve it for verification, then an email gets sent to them. And then they go in, they access that link that we emailed them, they pop up your verification page, then they verify your hours, and then it gets sent back to us, and then that's when we approve them, and then that, starts building on your transcript. So I hope that makes sense. I hope that was something easy to follow. So
we seem to have a lot of questions about verifying past hours and how far back you can go.
Okay, so in general, for us to verify hours, we can go back as far as you want to verify hours, as long as the key is for the Pdsa certification, they will only let us certify back to 2020. So if you wanted 2019 hours verified, we could do that. But if you're doing that for the Pdsa certification, the organization that we go through for that certification, Points of Light, won't let us verify. For the actual award, we can't go back further than 2020. But we can certify, past as what going back as far as you want. We would just need a bridge your membership going back that far. Now, another key is you would want to make sure that you work with the volunteer contact that you volunteered with. So let's say you are going back to 2020 and you want their hours verified. Now, 2020 has been a while ago. So you would want to make sure that that volunteer contact remembers who you are. And I would reach out to them and make sure that they are, willing to approve those hours for verification. Because, if you run into a situation where they say, I don't remember who you are for whatever reason, again, that was 2020. So it's been almost 2 years ago. Or it could have been 2 years ago. So you want to make sure that they remember you. You want to make sure they have your support, or that you have their support in volunteering and verifying those hours. Because again, they're the ones that have to actually do the verification. So I hope that makes sense. And I can go back to like the membership slide to kind of tell you about the difference. So again, the cost is the same essentially. If you just need us to go back in time and verify those hours from 2020, we would just need to bridge your membership back to that time. And it's just essentially like you joined in 2020, but you're just kind of doing that now. But so again, it'd just be like you were joining then. So I hope that clarified anything. Amy also put in, it looks like a post about verifying past hours and how to qualify for the Pdsa. So, again, good, useful blog content there. So feel free to look at that. Someone had asked, but we can and can't use, yes, definitely we can use past hours. We just have to bridge that membership. So that is definitely something that's available. And then someone said that they had come in late. They asked about a recording. So yes, there will be this is being recorded. So this will be available to you in a couple of days. And I guess that they will just send this on to you. So, or she posted the website. So it'll be posted on the NSHSS website. Okay. Well, thanks everyone for joining us. Thank you, Amy. Again, you can always contact us. We have a contact link on our webpage. So just go to volunteercrowd.com/contact. Send us, any kind of inquiry that you have. We also have our email, students@volunteercrowd.com. So just reach out to us and we are happy to help any way that we can. So thanks everyone for joining us. Take care and have a good night.